Okay, I've got a topic that came in by an email from actually, I don't know who the person is. Might be a first-time questioner or whatever, but it's somebody who wants to go further or has already been going further into privacy issues. Now, I have audio confirmation. SpeakerBot just told me that it's there, and then it's going to give a test for you.
DougBot said I'm working here.
Yeah, that works.
DougBot said I'm working here. DougBot said I'm working here.
3.
DougBot said I'm working here.
4. Okay, are you done? Are you done already? Jeez. All right, I have audio confirmation. So I received an interesting email. I think it was this morning. Looking here. No, yesterday. Whoops, nope, that's not the right one. That's somebody else. That was Thin Vicious. I'm going to get to his in a little bit. 10 hours ago. So last night. And the person informed me that they want to stay unidentified. So I copied the content of their email to a Microsoft Word document here. And this is interesting. This is something I'm not aware of. So he says, "Hi, Doug. First, I want to let you know that I'm using my alternate email account because I don't want my identity and email to be shared with everyone who will watch this video. I hope that's okay." Absolutely. It's okay. And I love it when people just come right out front and say that they don't want to be identified. Please. Now, he actually gave me, I'll get to that in a moment, Zvi. He actually gave me the alternate email, but didn't sign with the name. The alternate email actually uses a name, and I've decided, you know what, I'm not even going to use that. In chat, if you want to suggest a name that we use to identify this person, maybe some kind of name that implies, you know, a secrecy-oriented mind or private-oriented mind, something like that, then you can go ahead and offer that in chat. And Zvi, I will get to your question, but I'm going to go ahead and run down this road a little bit. The problem I am having, let's escape that a little bit and scroll. The problem I am having is that when I am trying to set Quad 9 DNS server on my Windows 11 laptop, the IPv6 DNS setting is not sticking and seems to be reverting to automatic DHCP. It seems to be happening intermittently. I think it happens when I switch Wi-Fi networks. I am following the Quad 9 Windows 11 encrypted DNS setup guide, Windows 11 encrypted Quad 9 documentation. I will hope you bring up my issue in a future video or live stream. Now, I think based off of that paragraph alone, I think I know what's going on and what he should do. And I'm going to give you a chance in chat to say what you think before I say that. But in the meantime, the Quad 9 DNS server, I've never been down that road, so I've got a little bit set up and prepared for us to explore that a little bit. And I've done very, very little with IPv6. IP settings and DNS settings for Wi-Fi, I have enough experience with that I think I know what the solution is. But let's go look at this Quad 9, because I haven't heard it talked about much. So I went investigating a little bit. I just let's see, what did I do? Where did I get that from? What was my first? The easiest way to set Quad 9. I guess I did some search somewhere that came up with this. The easiest way to set Quad 9 on your entire network is via your router settings. If you prefer to set Quad 9 on an individual Windows device, please follow the steps below to configure Windows 11 to use Quad 9. This isn't where I started. Let me figure out where I started with this. It was just this morning. I mean, come on. Here's where I started with this Quad 9 documentation. Now, he didn't give me a link to this. Somewhere, I guess I just searched for this. So here's the instructions. Oh, I know. He said I know what it was. Oh yeah, he said following the Quad 9 Windows 11 encrypted DNS setup guide. So I just did a Google search for that. And this is what I came up with. So here's the instruction for IPv4. Here's the instructions for IPv6. And this is to change the DNS server, IPv6. What are they talking about on a computer at this point or on a router?
Chat, please.
Red chat, please. Greg M's comment. Greg says he's used Quad 9 DNS before years ago. You hardcode DNS into the Windows setting for the network adapter. Yes, that's what I'm expecting. That doesn't quite answer his question, but you're on the right track. Why is he having trouble with it? Will be the next question. Boy, it's going to be an active morning with my clients. I got like 3 text messages and emails, and that's a phone call. All different people. Right click the network. Okay, so this is making those changes on the computer. And then he was following the IPv6. Toggle the on switch. So this is already in settings. Right click network or Wi-Fi. Down here, they skip that part about right click network or Wi-Fi. But there's a piece of the instructions that he needs that is not really specified here, that they are assuming that you would know. Now, but let's go a little bit further just to understand a little bit about this Quad 9. So I just copied that first paragraph. You saw it highlighted. I pasted it into Copilot. I don't bother with rewriting it as a question. So here it says, it sounds like you're sharing helpful tips for setting up Quad 9 on a secure DNS service. If you'd like, I can provide step-by-step guidance on configuring your router or an individual Windows 11 device to use Quad 9. Let me know how I can assist further. I said, well, explain the purpose of Quad 9. I've never heard of it, frankly. Not surprising. This industry is large enough that there's be a lot of stuff that I've never heard of. Quad 9 is a free, privacy-focused domain name service designed to enhance your internet security and protect your privacy. Here's what it does. Now let's start with just a basic explanation of DNS service, domain name service. When you type in an address in the web browser address bar of a website that you want to go to, let's say yahoo.com, since that's been a recent thing. How does your computer find that? Well, it asks the DNS server essentially, which converts that to an IP address so that your computer can make a connection to an actual IP address, and that can be an IPv4 address or an IPv6 address. The only reason we have IPv6 addresses today is because IPv4, we ran out of numbers, or we were about to run out of numbers. So they came up with this IPv6. So the concern there is that when you put in a website that you want to go to, that DNS server knows where you're trying to go to. And this would be a way of protecting that so that the usual domain name servers out there don't find out what you're doing. So blocks malicious domains. Quad 9 automatically blocks access to known malicious domains, such as those hosting malware, phishing attacks, other harmful content. It does this by using threat intelligence data from multiple security organizations. So from this paragraph here, this is an extra security element beyond, in addition to your antivirus, your anti-malware, your firewall settings, your router that does the name addressing thing. Can't think of that right now. But anyway, it's another layer of security. Enhances privacy. Unlike some DNS providers, Quad 9 doesn't log your personal data or browsing history, ensuring your online activities remain private. So it's an extra level of privacy. This alone probably isn't enough for anyone who's really concerned about privacy. Improves performance, delivers fast, reliable DNS resolution. That means when you type in the address, how long does it take for it to provide the actual IP address? for your computer to make that connection, which can improve the speed and reliability of your internet browsing experience. Easy to use, Quad 9 is simple to set up on routers or individual devices, making it accessible to anyone looking for an extra layer of security without complex configurations. Using Quad 9 can make your internet experience safer and more private. Would you like guidance on how to configure? No, thank you. Oh, then I was asking Copilot to give me a name to refer to this person. Did anybody do that in chat? Did you give me a name? Today, March 19th, 2025, 9:07 a.m. And I don't think I've even popped out chat yet. So, and we'll go hit those read chat messages. And I didn't get around to doing my seconds timer in the bottom right corner. Points. John Downey has 50 points. Let's see. Zvi Minor. Oops. I didn't start at the top. John Williams, good morning. Half an hour before show time. Cute trailer. That was a Cheers trailer. The second of my 2 Cheers trailers. Bernard C's going to buy us a round. Buy you all about round. And he's saying a stupid phone app because it didn't do his text to speech correctly. Hey, Doug, zoom in a bit, would you? All right, sure. Thanks for reminding me. John Williams, since I have you on 2 computers, does that mean I get double the points? No, it does not. Rand Israel, hello, Sin Vicious. I've got an email waiting for Sin Vicious. John Downey, Celestia Guru. That's his alternate account. I'm not going to. Oh, which one is that? Is that? Oh, I don't want to. I think I'm going to be wrong if I try to guess again who that is. All right, Sin Vicious. Is that Celestia Guru? Is that your alternate account? Steve Mercure. Hey, how did you find a picture of me to use on the thumbnail? What was the thumbnail? I don't know. It was, oh, this one. Oh, yeah. Oops. What's that? You're trying to give me something. Yeah, it's this guy. Kind of looks like almost like a Clark Kent. Then John Downey. Looks like John Downey was the first one. No, Phil Stodd was the first one after that reset occurred. Oh my gosh, there's another one.
No way.
Well, let me go ahead and do this quickly. I don't think you guys heard that. It wasn't a client anyway. Yeah, so let's see. Steve McCure might have been, yeah, 8:59. These were before the reset occurs that I explained yesterday. Phil Stodd, you might have been the first. So at the end of the show, when a credit rolls, if Phil Stodd is first on the list, because that's in order of appearance, after the reset occurs, then that would show that Phil Stodd slipped in here during the DougBot things, because all those DougBot things are after the reset occurs. So I think Phil Stodd will show up first on the credits. Let's see, John Downey saying to John Williams, I have 4 computers, 2 PCs, 2 Macs. I recently switched my wife to a Mac. Really? You changed your wife into a Mac? So now you're married to a Mac? Does that make your wife's name Mac? Move along, Doug. Don't give up your day job. Comedian is not for you. Rand Israel said it with the wrong accent. Zvi Minor. Yeah, you'll have when if the first thing you say in chat is exclamation mark points, then that's the first time you're active in chat. So now the timer starts for you. Every minute after that, you get 50 points. If you say something in chat and then immediately after do the exclamation mark points, I think you'll still have 0 until 1 minute elapses. I don't know that. So that's something for somebody to try tomorrow is, or even if you haven't spoken yet in chat, is put like a single word in chat and then immediately do exclamation mark points and see if you still have 0. I don't know if a 1 minute has to pass before you get the 50. Oh, what things do I get interested in? Zavi Minor, where are all the millions of points I've accumulated over the years on this channel? Yep. Okay, they never, well, in the past, yeah, no, in the past they were not accumulated at all, but now I have a method to accumulate them. Currently, I'm resetting them at the beginning of the show every day. Next month might be different. Mike Wojcik, hello. Jeff Raymond, Zavi, he's claiming he stole them, and someone stole them from me too. Greg uses Quad 9 DNS before years ago. So have used. You hardcode DNS into Windows settings for the network adapter, or you can do it on the router. Quad 9 is a public DNS server similar to Google's Quad 8. Okay. So why the word quad? Why is that specific to that type of DNS? There's 4 octets, I think. How many ways did I try to describe the number 4? Is it the octets that are in an IPv4 address? Charlie Purdy, hello. Alice, hello. Rick Lakes. Also not heard of Quad 9, so this is a learning experience. Ah, come on already. If this person is configuring his router to use Quad 9, those instructions looked like they were just for the computer. Then if he uses the router and then uses Wi-Fi on the computer's traffic will be going through the Wi-Fi adapter to another router other than his. Let me try to grab it. Did he do any correction? I hope this person also set up IPv4 Quad 9 in his computer Wi-Fi, since some routers may only hand out IPv4. Let's go back and review what he said. When I'm trying to set Quad 9 server on my Windows laptop, not on the router. So I understand this to mean he's doing the configuration on his laptop, not on the router. It's not sticking, reverting to automatic DHCP. That also is something that's happening on his computer. So he's not doing it on the router, he's doing it on the computer. Let's see. If the person is configuring his router, no. To use the Quad 9 DNS numbers, then he uses Wi-Fi on the computer's traffic would be going through the Wi-Fi adapter to another router other than his. I don't get what you're saying there. If he's connecting to the Wi-Fi that's offered by his router, then his Wi-Fi would be handing out what, and if his computer was set for DHCP, his router would be handing out the DNS settings to the computer. So I don't see how there's any other router. But then he did say, it happens when I switch Wi-Fi networks. So is there a second Wi-Fi network on the same router? But that's the subject of switching to different Wi-Fi network is, I think, the solution to his problem. But it's not relevant whether it's the same router or not, because if he configures it on his computer, he intends to be using Quad 9 no matter what Wi-Fi that he connects to. But there's a piece that I think he's missing. So I'm waiting to see if somebody comes up with the same piece that I have in mind, because I think I'm right. Yeah, now you're seeing that your points are accumulating. Selden, no, but you got the first letter right. Oh, it's Selden. Okay, it wasn't Sin Vicious. It was Selden that was Celestia Guru. Selden. And it's not Selden Bell, it's Selden Ball. All right. I feel like that's gonna take me a little while to remember that unless I cheat and try to memorize it. Bernard C. Magical. That was in reference to something earlier. I don't know what. Oh, maybe what happened to my points from Zavi. Pizza. Oh, here's Steve McCure doing this. Oh, he already had 600 points. So he must have said something earlier. He's not doing the test there. The only way you can do that test that I was suggesting is the first comment that you make in chat. The very first. To test that 0 points.
Read
Tomorrow,
chat, please.
perhaps somebody make a comment in chat and then immediately do exclamation mark points. See if you have 50 or if you have 0. So let's see here. I'm going to copy that. I don't have to copy the whole thing and go look at this read chat. Most new routers have 2 Wi-Fi networks, 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. Yeah, but also they may have a guest Wi-Fi, and the 2.4 and the 5 gigahertz would be different SSIDs. So that could be what he's switching to the other Wi-Fi network. And therein lies a clue as to what I think the solution is for his issue. I know most people pronounce it issue. Steve Dodd, hello. It says I have 0 points. The other day I had like 5,000. How many times do I have to say it? The points reset every morning. I said it yesterday. I said it today. Points reset every morning. This month. Might be different next month. Those are the Google DNS numbers, aren't they? And yeah, I was thinking also 1.1.1.1. I didn't know the 9.9. I've always thought of Google as 8s and the 1s. Quad 9 and Google. Greg M says, oh, this is Quad 9. Oh, I see. And Google. All right, so that explains it. Moving. I assume Quad 9 was a play on being on Cloud 9. Perhaps it's the, yeah, I think it's more likely that it's the IP address that's used for it. Quad 9. So you're thinking, yeah, you're thinking they got the word quad because a 9 kind of word association. You might say Cloud 9. That's a bit of a stretch, I think. Did anybody come up with an answer as to why the word quad is involved? Perhaps that's what Greg was saying, because yeah, it's a, don't they call it an octet? Not a quartet. And that's not even the right word, is it? It's because each of those
Read chat, please.
positions can be 3 digits. The DNS address is 4 9s, thus Quad 9. Okay. All right, that makes sense, Wintermute. Did you research that, Wintermute, or is
Read
that just
chat,
what you
please.
deduced from your mind? 4 binary octets. That makes more sense. That's right. 4 binary octets, because these are, yeah, binary numbers. They can be 3 digits in each of those sets. So that's where we're getting quad. If this is a laptop and he's out elsewhere, then he's connecting to another Wi-Fi router. That could be, he didn't actually say, he's just saying connect to a different Wi-Fi, and he's already configured his computer for the DNS settings. That's a really strong clue there as to what the answer is for him. Can someone guess how old the router would have to be to not have the feature of dealing with IPv6 addresses? Anyone take a guess? To Wi-Fi networks. Stupid scroll wheel. I guess I just got to get a different mouse. Since this is on a laptop, I assume the use of different Wi-Fi networks happened while traveling when the use of VPN can be important. Yeah, now this is not actually a VPN that he's dealing with. This is just DNS. That's different than VPN. This is just DNS. If you're just using a VPN service, when you try to access that service, your computer is going to make a request of the DNS server trying to get IP address for that VPN service. So that DNS action is involved before you actually get to the VPN service. Now, if the VPN client software installed on your computer has a configuration that causes your computer to use a particular DNS service that bypasses the configuration of your computer or the configuration of the router that you're connected to, then that might be a way that a VPN software on your computer gets past the normal DNS servers. I don't know that. Haven't looked into that. Deduce. So Wintermute deduced that his speculation. Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with the speed. Let's get into subnetting. Probably not today. That's not needed to give him his solution. Nobody came up with a name for this person. Public and private networks do not have different network settings. That's correct. That's not what I'm getting at. What does have distinct network settings? No, he's right. Once you establish a VPN connection, the VPN's connection DNS settings override the physical adapter settings. Yeah, once you're connected to the VPN, but how about just making that connection? If you already have the software on your computer, I doubt that it has to query a local DNS to come up with an IP address, because that software on your computer probably just already knows how to get connected to the VPN service and probably doesn't involve a DNS at all. Now, once you're connected and then you put a website name in your browser, it's not going to be using the DNS server of the local router or that your computer's configured for. Agent incognito. Well, I was looking for a one word, so maybe just incognito or cognito or cog. How about cog for short? Or cogni? Cogni. How about that? Make up a single word name for him. Selden Ball, see you later. Unless you configure the VPN connection not to use its remote gateway. Unless you configure the VPN connection not to use its remote gateway. Yeah, I suppose. And I think even if you have a VPN client software, you can perhaps configure it to not be used when you're connecting to certain sites, or maybe you configure it to use only when you're trying to go to certain websites. It might be a thing. I know some of the VPN stuff I've worked with has that capability, but I haven't tried it with a VPN service. Wired and wireless would have separate settings. Close. Okay, but no cigar. Do I even have Wi-Fi on here? When you're connecting a computer to Wi-Fi networks, each Wi-Fi network that you connect to might have a different IP scheme and different DNS settings. So when you connect to any Wi-Fi network, if you want to have static IP addresses, yeah, I'm not going to go through all that. If you want to have static IP addresses, then you need to connect to that Wi-Fi network and then configure that connection. Configure that Wi-Fi connection for whatever static IP address. If you want a static IP address, configure whatever DNS settings that you want for that Wi-Fi connection. You're not configuring it for that Wi-Fi adapter. You're configuring it for that Wi-Fi connection. So I didn't see anybody come up with that answer. So let's do this. Exclamation mark. Oh, let's see. I want to do a copy and paste of Live Windows Training DougBetts. Is this a conflict of interest to do this? Should I not be allowed to do this? Add points. 2000. Whoops. That wrong. Add points. 2000. There you go. Should that be a foul? Should I not be allowed to do that? And my points got reset at the beginning of the show, just like yours did. Okay, so yeah, I didn't get a timestamp for him. So I believe what his answer is going to be. He said, I think it happens when I switch Wi-Fi networks. Yeah, connect to the Wi-Fi network and do the configuration of your DNS settings for that Wi-Fi connection, because they are specific to a particular Wi-Fi SSID. If you later connect to a different Wi-Fi network that coincidentally has the same SSID, I think your prior configurations of that SSID will carry over to the other network. I've had some instances where I've had the same SSID in my client's office as we have in their home environment, so that, like, for instance, their cell phone, they have it set for a Wi-Fi connection. When they go home, it's the same connection, and they never have to bother switching. I'm pretty sure I've done that. I'm pretty sure that that'll work. Okay. Oh my gosh, I did the whole show on one topic. I'm going to go hit, let's see, I got to look and see what I have in. There are some video comments.
Read chat, please.
The other video comments I'm going to hold off on. They're not urgent. There's a Carrie Holzman, a Sin Vicious, and a Tropic Vibe to respond to. That last read chat message was Ran Israel is disagreeing with me. But he's talking about IPv6. I'm hard pressed to imagine that. Now, have you tested that? Ran Israel, if you hard code the DNS settings into the IPv6 settings of the wireless adapter, they should persist even when switching networks. So I have not done anything with IPv6. So if that's true, then that would imply to me that how is that IPv6 doesn't have to communicate with the wireless router it's connected to, because the wireless router is working. Okay, I guess subnets for IPv6. I don't know how those work. So that could be, my gosh, here's another one. It's time. I guess I better go. Yeah, I haven't looked into that at all. I will research that a little bit, because I haven't had any reason to go IPv6. You know what? Those video comments can wait. The other email that I was going to respond to, that can wait. I've got too many clients waiting, so I'm going to go ahead and put this to bed. Thank you all for your participation. You can send an email to this address with a question. Myself in the chat room will do our level best to respond to your question with either the answer or some kind of pointers or inspiration towards the right answer. And we're willing to follow your issue for multiple days if that's what it takes. So have a great day. You can also put a comment on any of my videos. Duh. All right. So have a great day, everybody. Catch you later. Goodbye.